Okay. So we're gonna go over the homework first, and then we're gonna go over multiple step equations with decimals. I'm sure Catherine and Emily know exactly what to do. That's not what I'm talking about. About the multiple step operations with decimals. Those are very easy, and you can do them in the calculator. That's the best part. But the fractions are the ones that are a little tricky. So we're going to do those in a minute, and then we'll move on to the next part. Swap with your neighbor. Um, so what is the first equation? All right, so I'm going to put on the side the steps that we need to do, right? You have to combine the variables. On the second step, we add or subtract, and the third step, we multiply or divide. Um, let's begin with this one. We're going to subtract half C from this side because we want to keep them on the left, correct? And right here, we do the inverse operation to remind us that what we're doing. Actually, I'm going to just keep this one. Oops, it's huge. I'll make like a little dotted line instead. There. And we're going to do our calculation over here because this part, I don't even worry about it. It's gone. I know this is 13. I know this is 4. But this madness over here, I'm going to do it on the side. So I'm going to do 3 over 2 minus half, correct? Well, we know that if the denominators are the same, then we just move them over, and then we worry about this. What is 3 minus 1? The bottom one, we don't do anything because we're not multiplying them. They're the same, right? They're the same denominator, so we keep it as they are. So we get 2 over 2, which equals what? 1. So that means we will have 1C over here, right? Or just C, correct? 1C equals, is the same thing as just C, right? If you put 2 over 2, it's the same thing. That means you did more work probably. So you subtract 4, and you end up with C equals what? Yeah. So if you guys, it is unnecessary to do it that way. But if it makes you feel any better, let's try it that way. No, no, I told you both ways. That'd be 6 minus 2. What do you get? 4 over 4. Simplifies to 2 over 2, or 1 over 1, which equals to 1. Right? That's unnecessary. You can just say, I'm going to move the denominator over, and that's it because it's the same. All right, for the next one. What is this? No, you didn't. July. Whatever. You got nothing right. Okay. What is the question? So again, we have the first step of combining variables, the second step of adding or subtracting. There's too much going on over there. The third step was multiplying or dividing. And then we subtract 3 over 2x from both sides. These were easy because they have the same denominator. I would have made it difficult. I just got this from another workbook. What does? Negative and subtracting is the same thing. I know it's hard to understand that concept, but it really is. Um, I usually call subtracting and adding combining instead of saying I'm subtracting and I'm adding. We're really just combining stuff. We're combining negatives with negatives. We get more negatives. We combine positives and positives, we get more positives, right? If we combine a negative and a positive, we end up with the ones that are left alone, right? So if you think about it as combining rather than I'm taking away, it works because a lot of you, it's difficult for you to visualize the fact that you're taking away from a negative and it makes the number bigger, but in reality, you're making it smaller because the larger the negative it is, the smaller it is, right? I know it's a very difficult kind of way to understand, but boy and girl works. You're not what? In this situation, what are we not doing? We're not subtracting. Let me box this very quickly. You can put it over 1, and that makes more sense. But what I want you to understand is that no matter what format the number is in, on a number line, let's say this is -1, -2, -3. We have -1, -2 right here, right? And let's pretend that we're taking away not this long crazy fraction, but just 4. -2 minus 4. When you take away, you're not adding, right? You're subtracting. So we're taking away more numbers and moving this arrow farther and farther back, right? So we end up at where? That's right, -6. We're still taking away. But if you don't have that in your brain, if you don't have the vision, the idea that you're taking away from something, it's not going to work. Because you're thinking, well, if I'm subtracting from -2, what happens there? Or whenever you have a positive and a negative, you're like, but I'm adding a positive. I should have a bigger number. And essentially you do, but it doesn't look that way because you're moving this way on the number line. It's a little confusing. So just use the boy girl. If the boy and girl is confusing too, we need to find a different way to twins. Yeah. What was it, bonito? That's just for positives and negatives. What? Okay. So we're gonna have over here on this side 9/2 minus 3/2. Again, the denominators are the same, so we just move them over, and we end up with 9 minus 3, which is 6, right? So, and that can be simplified to what? 3. Just 3. What is 6 divided by 2? 3. So we get 3x, right? And now we subtract 5. If you keep it as a fraction, it's fine. 3x equals 15. Divide by 3, right? X equals. Why was it 12? Oh, JK. I did say JK. It's been a long day. I just know that was not Jennifer saying that. All right. If you got that as an answer, then you get it right. All right, so let's go to your books, and we're going to go to page. Yay. No. We're going to go, and you're going to work together. Where'd it go? Oh, this thing is doing the most. I think it's 270 some, I think. Oh, I'm going in the wrong one. Oh, I opened up the wrong paper. JK. Am I recording? I is recording. Those kids don't know. I'm kidding. Yeah. There you go. Silence, the Pharaoh speaks. Hey, Pharaoh speaking. It's page 307. You're going to do number 10, number 11, on your own. Make it fast, and we'll get back to it in a couple of seconds, minutes. Use your calculators to do the decimal ones. Go. All right, let's go. Shh. Silence. That's enough. So on this one, we have to identify the two things going on, right? So we know that we have the members of Wide Waters Club. They pay $105 for the whole season, right? And then they pay an additional $9.50 each time that they rent a boat. So which one is the X? The M. The $9.50, right? So $9.50 plus the $100.50 that you pay is a one-time fee, right? 105, sorry. You pay that just one time for the summer and you don't pay it again, right? And that we're trying to see how that amount will be equal when you consider that the ones that are non-members, people who do not have a membership, and they have to pay a little higher rate, which is only $14.75 X, right? So let's do it on this side and see. Look, I did it already. Ta-da! Am I recording? I am recording. Okay, so I did it right there, and you should have gotten 20. That means that after 20 rentals, at 20 rentals, not after, at 20 rentals, both non-members and members will pay the same amount. That's what it means. If you notice, I put 0 whenever I eliminated the 1475 X's because I don't want to leave anything over there by itself. I don't want to leave a gap there. I want to leave the actual 0. That's what I got for. Yes, we want the variables on the left side. That's why I subtracted that, and I kept it on this side. And you could have done it the other way too, but I'd rather you have it on the left for the purposes of the next section, which is inequalities. Are we good? Then, ¿cómo que no? What do you mean no? That's what I said. All right, so the next one, it says Margaret can purchase a towel at a store for 79 cents per tile and rent the tile saw for $24. Do you have to rent that saw over and over again? No, it's one time. So we automatically know that is B. And that means that the other one per tile, that must be our X, our M, right? Plus 24. And we're trying to see how much it will be, at what point it will be the same from the other, where's the other person? At the other store, which is $1.19 per tile, right? So we bring that equation and we solve for it. And it gives me the following. Ta-da! 60. So when you buy 60 tiles, both values will be exactly the same. What negatives? Oh, notice in this part, right here, when you subtract 119x, I have some kids who don't know that 0 minus 24 equals 24. Some kids are like, oh, that's just 0. No, 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 no. Put them into the boy-girl situation. You have 0 boys and 0 girls and 24 boys. You still have 24 boys, right? They don't just disappear. So the answer will still be 24. Be careful with that. When you get a 0 and when you divide or multiply, the zeros don't really count. But whenever you add or subtract zeros, they count, whatever is next to it. Is anybody confused with this one? Are you sure? Yeah. It was a mistake. All right. Let me do it again. So we know we have to combine variables, right? And then we have to add or subtract something, and then we multiply or divide something, right? So we first have to subtract this to combine the variables. And this just goes away. And when it goes away, what does it give me? It gives me 0, right? Every time that you end up with nothing on one side, put a 0 on there to remind you that you did something there. It's kind of like a placeholder in this situation. You can bring down 24, and then when you subtract, what do you get? 0.4x, right? Whenever you subtract that.
Negative.
And now the second says you have to subtract or add something, right? So you subtract 24 from both sides. This goes away. Then you bring down the negative 0.4x. And 0 minus 24 gives me 24. I have 0 girls and 24 boys. The boys don't go away. They still stay there, right? They still exist. And now you divide by negative 0.4x. Not x, just the 4. Negative 0.4. That goes away. You end up with x equals, the signs are the same. That means my answer is what? Positive. El poster allá está. So what do you get? My Spanish is perfect, but I play with it around. We divided negative 24 by negative 0.4, not 4. So we got 60.
Negative.
We got positive 60 because the signs are the same.
I know, but I said negative.
Oh yeah. All right. Are we good so far? So the next one is this right here. That should be easy. The charges for 2 shuttle services are shown in the table. Find the number of miles for which the cost of both shuttles are the same. Well, which one is the x of these two? The charge per mile, right? Those are the b, not the m's, not the x. What am I talking about? And this is the b, right? So it'll be 0.10x plus 10, right, for easy ride, and then 0.35x for best. So let's put them together and solve it. So it would be 0.10x plus 10 equals 0.35x. And now they don't want just the equation, they want you to solve it. So go ahead and do that. I'll give you about a minute or two. November. All right, guys. So here is the problem. Hopefully you got it correct. Cuarenta. That's right. Do we have anything that we did not quite understand in this part so that I can explain it? Do we all understand it? Yeah. Okay. Good. Uh-huh. 40 what? Maybe because you use decimals, so it's telling you that it's not rounding. It's giving you exactly the up to that point. Yeah. So actually, I have to go over that tomorrow. Remind me tomorrow to tell you about approximation with numbers. There is something you need to know about those things, so that way you can read things better when it comes to numbers. All right, we're not done. Come down. So let's do 13 very quickly. By the way, this was on your test. It was easy. So a rapid rental car charges a $40 rental fee, which is flat, $15 for gas, and 25 cents per mile. That is my M, right? So I will have 0.25x plus 40 plus 15, and that equals this guy over here, 0.35x plus the 45 that they charge. That's it, right? Now, some of you are like, I don't know what to do. Well, you combine variables the same way. I think I did it here. Maybe I didn't do it. Yeah, I did. So you combine the variables right here. You combine these first because they're together on the same side. That's easy. And now I get a normal multiple step equation, right?
You gave us the answer.
I know. So now you on the second step you basically combine the variables, and then after that you get a two-step equation and then a one-step equation. Do we all see this?
Yeah.
Do we all understand what went wrong on the other one?
Yeah.
Yes? Good. Kayla, you look confused. Tell me, what is it? Okay. So I want you guys, listen up. When you have a long problem like this one, and you notice that you either have x's or regular numbers, combine them. Combine all the x's together and put all the regular numbers together, and now you end up with an x and a number on one side, an x and a number on the other side. And from there, you know exactly what to do. You have your step 1, which is to combine variables, your step 2 to add or subtract, and your step 3 to multiply or divide. And right here, you're combining variables. Right here, you're adding or subtracting. And right here, you're dividing or multiplying. And bam, your answer is there.
Let's take a picture of that.
It's on the video. That's true. You're going to have a lot of questions. But, well, on Friday, you're going to have a small quiz, probably like 20-minute quiz, and then we'll have a lesson. All right, so before we move on, No, on Friday. So, pay attention. We ain't done. I'll tell you in a minute. I wanted you to go over these stuff very quickly, guys, because tomorrow we're going to introduce ourselves. I'm going to introduce you guys to the same type of equations, but now we're using inequalities. So I want you to go, in addition to the homework that I'm going to give you, I want you to go to iExcel, YouTube, whoever's listening from my first period, iExcel, and explore inequalities. Inequalities. Right here, you can look them up on iExcel for your grade level, which is 8th, and you're going to be able to find those things and kind of work with them. They work the same way. The only thing is that you have to understand what a greater than, a less than, an equals to, and all those signs mean. But very quickly, let me refresh your memory, because some of you are like, I forgot already. I don't know. So this right here is greater than. Este aquí. This is less than. This is greater than, because it looks like that, but it's also equal to. Greater than or equal to. Not both, it's either or. And this is less than or equals to. And now, I'm sorry? Yeah, that's what like the regular classes are doing, the regulars. Yes. Yes. There are a few ways, yeah, like the crocodile or the Pac-Man, that's another thing. But here's another thing that you can do. You can either do an arrow. So if you grab this and turn it into an arrow, which direction is it going? To the right, and that's where the numbers increase, right? So that means it's greater. If it goes to the left, that means where it decrease, which is less than. Here's another way, and I learned that last year from one of my kids. My kid said, just put dots at the end of it. Whatever you have to the left, what do you have? 2 is more than 1, right? That's a greater than. This right here, 1 is less than those 2 dots, so that's less than. That's pretty easy, right? Think about those two, or think of the arrows. I don't care which one you use. But just remember that if you have a line at the bottom, It can also be equal to. Work on these for tonight. Go over them on your own, as many as you want. It's okay. I'm not gonna grade it. It's just for you to be ready for it. I'll give you extra credit though if you do it. And be ready for tomorrow. Your homework is going to be the rest of this page, which is 14, 15, 16, and 17. And bring it tomorrow on the same page we're working on, 207. Huh? Oh, 80? Was it 80? You have to go back and plug it in.